Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the RacePlazaMedia podcast. My name is Milan.
My name is Pia.
And you have done something that you have never done before this week.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
So, as I've been promising, and as I've been doing it this year, I've been watching a lot more rally this year. And this week we had the Rally Croatia. And because I had some additional days off this week, I made the commitment to watch all 20 stages of the rally this week. And what a commitment it was.
That's a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
It is a lot. And I was thinking about it once I finished it. I was like, one, it's a huge ask of fans to watch so much racing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the stages are short. Like, some of them are like 7 minutes long, and like some of them are a little bit longer. Obviously, it varies.
Yeah.
And the actual time that they race is like, I think the total was under 3 hours if you add up all the different stages. But
Like per car.
exactly. Like the fastest car was like 2 hours and 51 minutes, you know? So it's like, it's 3 hours of racing divided up between 3 days, because it was really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of racing. But it's still a lot. It was a big time commitment. And like, yes, I was off, so I had time available.
Yeah.
But it still felt like a really big commitment to watch all 20 stages.
I would be curious to see, and I don't know if this like data is available or anything like that, but out of all of the rally fans, right? Out of how many of them really watch like every single like stage or leg? I'm curious to see, or if people are just tuning in for like the last day and stuff like that. I am curious about that, you know?
I was thinking about that too, because it's such a huge ask to commit to so many different stages. Because I mean, on Friday alone, we had 8 legs.
Yeah.
We had 4 stages that they did a loop of, so they did those twice. And I mean, it was the same thing on Saturday as well. But it's just a lot, you know? But I was thinking also, like, I think my assumption would be that a lot of people would only watch Sunday, because Sunday's races or stages, you get the extra points for Super Sunday, you get the Wolf Power stage, and then of course you have the culmination of the rally overall. So there's a lot to play for on Sunday. However, now looking back on this rally alone, you would have missed out on so much. Because if you just tune in for Friday, obviously they
for
do.
Sunday?
Obviously, if they do a lot of recaps. So you would go in knowing kind of a summary what happened. But there was so much that happened right from the first stage, which was, I mean, it was an insane rally, and so much topsy-turvy, so much upsets, heartbreak. I mean, almost literally. So
it is. So I just looked it up. So they do 14 races or like race weekends per year. Is that right? So
sounds about right. Yeah.
so obviously, like on average, like 10 less than, for example, F1. But for F1, you really technically only have to show up for Sunday, like usually an hour and a half, max 2 hours.
Yes.
So, I mean, of course. So it is like a different time commitment, but it is difficult, I feel like, because like of the time changes and stuff like that. So it is like a huge props to people, because like I love watching endurance races.
Yeah.
But it just seems easier to watch because it's just one day where I have to watch a race, right? I don't have to watch like 3 days worth of racing and stuff like that.
No, that makes sense. But then also, like, obviously I watched mostly Rally 1 because I was like, I can't commit to also Rally 2. And then there are also the juniors were competing this weekend. So I was like, okay, let me just watch at least Rally 1. But it's still at least every day I committed like several hours of, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I watched at least 2 to 3 hours of rally, because of course they don't all start at the same time. They start in 2-minute intervals, so it does add up, especially if you watch 9 drivers, which were 9 were competing in Rally 1 this weekend. So I mean, it's a big commitment. I understand if rally fans just watch Sundays, just because there's so much at stakes. And even today on Sunday, so much still happened. But then again, like I said, looking back at the rally completely, there's so much that happened every single day. I'm not sure if it happens every
because
time.
it's obviously the first time you're doing
It's the
this.
first time that I've committed to this. And then also it's my first year really watching a lot more rally, which I'm so excited about because, again, I mean, I say this every time when I talk about rally. They were absolutely insane.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a few things because you and me were sitting on the couch watching two separate things earlier today. So I was watching the ELMS and you were watching rally. But every once in a while, like, I just glanced over because like there were, spoiler alert, safety cars, you know? But it is crazy that they're sending it like at 100+ kilometers. And then there's there's a wall right to your right and there's the abyss to your left,
Yes.
you know?
I mean, it's scary. And I'm scared, which is also exciting. But then I also, of course, I had this thought. I was like, normal people wouldn't be allowed to do this or shouldn't do this, you know?
No, I think you could be like a co-pilot probably, but like racing itself, I mean, I think even like Max Verstappen said that he would never do rally racing because this is just like, it is so incredibly dangerous.
Yes.
It is probably the most dangerous racing that I can think of on top of my head.
I mean, because they literally ride on the edge of cliffs and things like that. Like this weekend, so they were in Croatia this week. It was an asphalt rally, the first asphalt rally of the season, and they have 2-3 more coming up now. Which going into it, I was like, okay, asphalt should be easy, quote unquote, you know, because it's concrete or it's paved, you know what?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, so there shouldn't be as many, because we saw Kenya recently and they were going through the mud and through gravel and stone.
Yeah.
And then before that
Dirt
we had
roads,
Sweden.
snow.
So it's like, and then going.
Monte Carlo was also, which is a combination, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a mix. So this one, I was like, okay, so it's like, because I mean, Croatia, Europe, you've been there.
If you want good pizza.
Yes. I mean, they have their like roads and things like, not that Kenya and Sweden don't have roads, but like it's on actual roads, you know? So I was like, okay, so I am not expecting too much craziness, but literally first stage, 3 minutes in, one of the top contenders out.
Out for the weekend?
Out for the day, which meant he had no chance of winning the rally for the weekend. However, his big day then was today, Sunday, to make up extra points.
Because you can still win stages and you can win
you have exactly
to make up points, even though you don't win the overall weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it immediately started with a huge upset. Then the third stage and the second big contender, he was leading the championship. He was leading, I don't know why I did one like this. He was leading the championship. He was leading the rally as is, went off the hill because there was some issue with the pace notes. Because the exciting thing also this weekend was, so they've competed in Croatia before.
Okay.
There's been a break. But this time in Croatia, most of the stages were new.
Okay.
So everybody had to create brand new pace notes for it. So it's a little bit more, it seemed like of an more even playing field. On Saturday, we had 3 stages that were stages from previously.
Okay.
But so that was the only 3 stages compared to all the other ones that were brand new. So everybody had new pace notes. And then, so on the third stage, there was a small issue with the pace notes, and we were watching it live. We, as in the collective fans of rally, because we were in the car as it was happening, and you could hear the driver say like, "Oh, I thought you said it was a 3. It was a 3," and then he went too hot into the corner, and then just went off.
Did
essentially,
he say it was a 3? Did the guy say it was a 3?
The guy did say it was a 3 because we heard it in the replay, but he said it. So it was also because his co-driver is like considered one of the greatest co-drivers currently, and he's very, very respected. So obviously it was not I mean, it's
an honest mistake.
Exactly.
Right? Like, this is obviously not someone who's like, I'm going to get you or whatever. It's like,
No,
he's in the car, first of all.
Yeah.
And it is the thing, and okay, I'm gonna say this, and obviously I don't want people to get in crashes and stuff like that, right? But I also watching like ELMS, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit later again. It's like, it is nice to see when people are making mistakes at that high level, because when people like us, like mere mortals, are racing, it is nice to feel like, okay, like they're also mess up. There is that
Yes.
human aspect of
Yes.
it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So there were lots of human aspects, and there were so many upsets, and there was like nobody was safe.
Yeah.
Really, there was one guy, a Finnish driver, Sami.
That's the tagline for the video. Nobody's safe.
No.
Rally Croatia. Got him.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Because there's one guy, he was leading, and we were like, oh, this might be his first rally win of the season or of like his career in Rally 1. And he was leading, and he was extending his lead. But then on Saturday, the afternoon was just mayhem. Punctures after punctures. Everybody has punctures. One car even caught fire in the foot area of the co-driver.
Oh my
And
God.
like there was one guy hit a pole, so his whole rear suspension tire was out. I mean, that just changed the whole order. And then getting into Sunday.
Okay, wait a minute, real quick, because you said that they're starting like in 2 minutes intervals.
Yes.
So how does it happen if the person crashes in front of you, but you're already out?
Yes.
How does that impact the
all
following
the
car?
crashes that I've seen this weekend and so far, they crashed off the track.
So the other person is like, I don't care. It's not my business.
Well, so basically what they do is then usually I think the co-driver, they have like an okay sign. They go and stand by the road. Okay, we're good. So they can just keep racing. And then once it's all clear, they have helper vehicles come out to help them. Unless they can fix it themselves and safely rejoin the track.
So, but are they given then a window? It's like, hey, you're able to, because you obviously don't know when the next person comes.
That
right?
I'm not sure. I wonder if that's team communication
I'm
potentially.
assuming,
But I have not heard anything of that sort, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
So for example, when Oliver Solberg and also Elvin crashed out, they all went completely off track. So they were, or completely off the road, so you can go by them safely. You could see them clearly. And then also like after, for example, once Oliver went off right in at the beginning, once they finished or crossed the finish line, there's always an interview. And like even the second guy who had come right after him, he was like, oh, he was really shocked that he saw him off the road. And it seems like there's a really big sense of community there.
Like a camaraderie.
Yeah, because I mean, you come together through the ranks, just like Formula One or like any other racing, like top racing. Like you've worked
together for many, many years.
For many, many years, or you've competed against each other. Maybe you've even been in teams together over the years. So there's this really big sense of respect and camaraderie. And there's no like, it doesn't seem like there's like ill will. I don't know if it's changed. Maybe it's just the impression that I got from today, because there was a really big upset on Sunday too, which I'll tell you about in a second. So it's like, it's really nice also.
It does seem like, I don't know if this is weird just in this era of racers where it feels like people are much better at compartmentalizing. It's like, I'm on track and on track we're racing, but then off track, where like we get along really, really well, right?
Yeah.
And I know that like, especially like in F1, the fans usually can't comprehend that.
Yes.
They think like, oh, they hate each other or like they obviously whatever. But it's like a lot of times like, yes, on track we're foes, right?
Yes.
But off track, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's also because like we said, it's like the sense of you understand what you had to do to get to this point.
And
all the work, and you're like, especially at Formula One or Rally One, you're the best of the best at this point, you know? So, and there's also often there's like tiny little margins. You're so good. You're all so good. And so if somebody makes a mistake, it's like, oh, was it the car? Was it the driver? Was it just the surface? What happened?
But
you know?
and you also see this like nowadays, like in other sports, right? Like we see this like in ice skating and figure skating, right?
Yes.
We saw this really big in the Olympics this year, right? Where everyone is cheering for each other, because it's also like, it is such a small community. And it's like, yeah, you could be fighting with everybody, but it's like there are few people in the world who could probably relate to what you're going through and the work that you're putting through, right?
Yeah.
That is like the community that you can find, you know? So it is cool to see. I mean, I know that people like drama when it's off. And like sometimes like it is really, really engaging. A lot of times I do think it's like, bro.
Yeah.
You know, anyways, go ahead.
No. I mean, that's totally fine. It's all true. So, but basically, so we, throughout all the stages, lots of things happened. There was lots of turnover. Like first it was one people leading, then another person leading. So going into Sunday, we had finally Hyundai back on top, which was so exciting with Thierry Neuville. They've had a really tough season. So he was leading by over, I think, a minute and a half or something. So he was going...
So good margin.
Which is a big margin, exactly. So he was going into Sunday just like, he just wanted to bring it safely through all the stages. He doesn't need to win. He doesn't want to make any effort to make the extra points that are available on Sunday. He just wanted to keep the overall
just
lead.
clinch it. Yeah,
exactly. And then for the other two places on the podium were two Toyotas, and both of them were the same. They were like, we just want to make it down safely because any points we can get now for the championship are really, really important, of course, especially at this early stage of the championship. And
Is it
also
round 4?
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Round 4, yeah.
And especially also because there was so much upset and so many of the Rally 1 drivers had really big incidences that at the end of the rally, out of the top 10 finishers, only 3 were Rally 1 cars.
That is wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, granted, I don't know how crazy it is in comparison to other rallies, but I think it sounds insane, you know? So going into Sunday, we have 4 stages, 2 really, and then they repeat them, right? And then so you get the most points by whoever finishes all the stages together, and then or has the fastest times of all of the stages, and then you get additional points for the final stage, which is the Wolf Power stage. So there's a lot of points, additional points up for grabs. So Oliver and Elvin were like the 2 people who, because they had crashed out both on the first day, they were like, well, Sunday is the day we can make up really important points for the championship, since they seem to be 2 of the really top contenders. Both of them had already won a rally this year, so big points up for grabs for them. And then Oliver was like in his own world. He was driving those stages. Like he always went out first because he was literally the last one in the standings. And he, like madman, he was in his own galaxy, they were even saying, because he was so fast. And nobody got close to his
which car
times.
is he?
He's in a Toyota.
Okay.
And so it was absolutely mind-boggling. And everybody was saying like these stages were really about commitment. You really had to, because they're really fast, and you have to really commit to fully braking, or like braking really late and then just really committing to it, because that's how you save or go the fastest and save the most time, you know? But it was not a very, the track was dirtier than they expected, which was a huge thing. Huge theme was tires.
Okay.
Tire degradation, all those things, but also just, and the pollution on the track in terms of leaves and dust and gravel, because which I didn't think about, because of course the roads were paved, but then the edges is where it kind of crumbles.
Yeah.
And it goes into dirt or grass or whatever, and they can be quite sharp. And then of course they are allowed to cut the track. So they cut it wherever they can to save time, and that's the dangerous part, because then
Because there's no track limits.
No, not really.
Yeah,
not
because
like that.
most of the time there's only one path anyways.
Yes.
There's very little, like you said, very little cutting that you can do.
So it was really, really fascinating. And then, so there was a lot of different points up for grabs. So we had this really great battle between John Armstrong, an Irish driver in a Ford, versus a Hyundai driver, Adrian Formeau. In the first round of the loop, his co-driver misplaced his pace notes, so he had to read it up on the phone, because nowadays they've been taking pictures of it just to be safe. It's still different. It doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, because usually they have like a big
They have
thing,
big papers,
and, on the phone,
and then
even if you have a phone that folds,
Yes.
it is way different.
Yes, but it changes the whole thing. So Adrian was a little bit upset after that round, but of course, in the second round, they were like, oh, okay, he found his pace notes. Everything was good.
So like you should put like a little tag on it.
Well, it was probably just misplaced behind a seat or something like that, but they didn't notice until the start line.
Yeah.
So, and then they didn't have time to like fish it out or whatever.
I wonder how often that happens.
It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen.
Yeah, that's why I was like, just put a little like a, what is it, air tags?
Oh, yes. But it was just too late.
I know, but I'm just saying, like...
No, I get it. But then the AirTag would have been like, yeah, it's in the car. We're like, well, we fucking know it's in
I'm
the car.
assuming there's like only so many spaces.
Yes.
But obviously, who knows? Maybe you're not allowed to.
No. But so then, and it was between John Armstrong and Adrian Fourmeau about who gets more points, additional points. And both of them had really bad luck over the weekend. They had some really strong moments. But then, so now this was really the chance for them to make some additional points. And John Armstrong went down first, and he did a good time for him. He's new in Rally 1, or it's his first full season, so he's still learning. He's learning the car, and which, of course, makes it difficult. Imagine you're in a new car for you, and you have to go downhill in, like, these curvy roads. You have to fully commit, but then you also don't know quite yet the limits of the car, you know?
Yeah, and it's also, like, with Rally, it's not, like, it's difficult probably to practice.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I just, like, it's not like in Formula One or like anything else where you could maybe jump on the sim or stuff like that. I think it must be quite tricky.
Yeah. So imagine, you're in a newer-ish car. You've been, like, this is your fourth rally in the car, and you have to, it's the first time on asphalt. You go down the hill. You have this beautiful Adrian Sea ahead of you. Obviously, you can't enjoy it because you have to make sure you get those turns. And there was a lot of, like, hairpin needle turns. It was gorgeous. So he goes down. Decent time. He was happy with it. But then immediately he asked the interviewer, like, oh, what are the splits for Adrian? Because he's right behind him. Adrian coming down, he's leading like tenths ahead, like just a little bit ahead, but it's so close. All of a sudden on the screen, we see alert tire pressure. And then his race was over. It wasn't over. He just lost so much time. So it's like another Hyundai issue, you know, it was just like, just a little bit frustrating. And then, so we had, that all happened. And then a little bit later, we had the top three.
Wait, so he had a puncture?
He had a puncture. He was able to bring the car down, but of course, he couldn't really fully commit to all the braking and everything. So he just lost a lot of time. So he ended up not getting, not passing John and not getting additional valuable points. So then we go to the top three.
Okay.
And which I think it's fun that they come back 3, 2, 1. That's the order, of course, they come down.
I like that when they also do that in like some of the winter sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had
the bop.
Yeah.
The bop.
Yes, exactly.
And stuff like that.
So we had Sammy, the Finnish guy, come down first. He did a good, clean run. Of course, in his post-race interview, he's a little like bittersweet. It's his third back-to-back podium, which is obviously excellent. He's had the most stage wins. More stage wins now, I think, than he had all of last season.
Wow, okay.
Which is
it's a huge improvement.
It's a great start into the season. He was so close to winning, or there was like chances of him potentially winning.
What is the name of the?
Sammy.
Okay.
And so it was like a little bit bittersweet, but he tried to look positive and said, you know what, this is good because the next race or the next rally is also going to be on asphalt. So there was a lot of things that they've learned about it. Next up, Taka came down, the Japanese guy who had won last rally in Kenya. He came down, also excellent time. For him, it was the same thing. Like, it was mixed. He had some really good moments of the rally, but then on Saturday, everything also kind of went to shit for him. So he was leading the podium at the rally at one point. So, but he was like, you know what, we'll take it. And we're happy with
points,
exactly with the points. And then during the post-race interview, which happens right after the finish line, the interviewer, I think her name is Molly, she's like, oh no, Thierry, something happened to Terry. You might just win it. And he's like, what? Because so Terry was in last, Hyundai. Literally everybody was rooting for him to win it. Because
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at the situation. I just remember it happening and the noises that were happening on the couch.
Yes, because literally everybody was rooting for him and rooting for Hyundai just because they needed just something positive to happen. And he had some bad luck throughout the rally, but he had the least bad luck because he was able to go into the final day with a minute and a half of a lead. And then every time he finished the leg, they were like, oh, what's your plan for the next leg? He's like, I've been telling you this every time. I just want to make it down safe. That's all I want to do. Yeah. And he tried. And then so right at the beginning, he got into his car, his front right tire got into a gravel dirt area. And he got oversteer in the back. And then there was like this, it was in this weirdest section. If it would have happened anywhere else, he would have been fine. But so he lost the control of the back. Then the road split. The actual rally road went to the right, and then it was just like a tiny little escape road to the left that went down a little bit. He went down that little incline. The car went over it looked like a road sign that was flat, which had like a big stone rock at the bottom. So went over it. The whole front right suspension damaged. He had to try to turn around at a tiny little exit row to get back on track. But you could see the front tire is just like...
It's just like, I saw that.
Like a broken wing or something. And he tried to bring it down. You could just see his frustration. And the co-driver also put down his little sun visor. You know, I think it was just like... just so much heartbreak. And then after a little bit, the team was like, please pull over and retire the car. Because it was just...
It's also too dangerous at that point.
Well, it's dangerous. And it's also like they have to fix all of this. And they have another rally in 2 weeks. So, a week and a half when it starts up again. So it's like...
Oh, where's the next rally?
I'll tell you. So it's just like this really...
That's heartbreaking.
And then even like the Toyota, like Taka and his co-driver... They were like obviously happy to win, but it's also like that's not the way you want to win, but it's also part of racing, and it has happened to him before too.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a mixed feeling. And they were also interviewing the Toyota main team principal afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, it's just so bittersweet because they were also rooting for Hyundai.
Yeah.
They were happy with second and third and making valuable points. Obviously, they'll take the win and they'll take second place.
Of course.
But it's just." That's when you also saw just like this connection.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's such an emotional rally.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, how can you only watch Sunday when so much could happen? Like I have so many notes. I'm not going to tell you all the things that happened because it's literally like I have notes for almost every stage because every time something happened. But so I'm like, I don't understand it. How you can be a full-time rally fan and also watch other racing. It's such a time commitment. It's huge. Like, not that I regret it. I loved it. And I have to admit, I did fall asleep once or twice because I was just tired. And it's also kind of relaxed when you hear the...
I think any racing, it is very relaxing.
Yes.
Anything that is also long-term.
Yes.
This is like, it doesn't matter which type of racing it is. The only thing, I think the only time it never happens to me if it's like 20-minute races.
Yes.
But like anything, even with F1, right? It is also the soothing noise of it, right? Very repetitive.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So I get you.
Yeah. So, but... I loved watching all of it. I don't know if I can commit to this every single time just because it is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. And the commentators are really good too. I really enjoyed them. There's also just a couple things that I wanted to bring up. One, I already talked about this, the cutting, the whole idea, because they were talking about, there's like a lot of cutting happening this week. And I was like, what do they mean by cutting?
Okay.
And then I was like, they mean like literally cutting
the
corners and things, but also sometimes where they cut it, it's like they cut it and there's literally it goes down.
Abyss.
Like if they go like an inch or two more down. I was like, this is crazy. And also where Oliver went out, his car was like on a very steep incline and being held by like trees and stuff. I was like, that's scary. It's so scary. And then also, I don't want to end it on this note, but in 2023, a rally driver died in Croatia for like a pre-testing or testing event, and they honor him every year when they come back to, or whenever they come back to Croatia. This time he was a Hyundai driver, Craig Breer. They put his face on the side of all the cars, and they had like quotes of him. And there's also an organization in his name that helps, I think, upcoming rally drivers because he was super involved. Yeah. And he was very popular. He was my age. I mean, he literally born the year I was born.
So 52.
Shut up. But then, he died because it was during a testing event and then he literally ended up in a pole. He died. His co-driver, fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, but isn't that also in 2023 is when Ken Block died? and he got struck by something that went through the windshield.
Yes.
It's like, I don't want to look this up, but I wonder if like rally racing is like statistically one of like the most deadliest racing out there, because I think like F1 or Formula racing for most parts has become much safer, also due to the introduction of the halo and us also understanding like the science behind it. I mean, we did have, of course, someone pass away also like 3 or 4 years ago in Formula 2, it was, right? Going up on Rouge, and then the one thing happened that it's not supposed to happen is like you get hit by a second thing.
Yes.
And that is, you know, but I think maybe besides like the Isle of TT, you know, that race where like
motorcycle
where like I think now it's 2 consecutive years where no one died, which is like great streak, but what the fuck.
No, but I was thinking about that too, because I mean there were so many sections where it was very scary, and they also like they go through the narrowest roads like 100 140 180 kilometers per hour. Like, this is insane.
I think for me, like, I think if I would do rally, I would be more interested in like rally cross or rally raid, kind of like Dakar.
Yes.
Just because rally itself, it just, even as a co-driver, I'm just like, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much sitting in that car, because it's just scary.
Yeah. I mean, I am really fascinated by the co-drivers. I want to learn more about like their pace notes and how it's created. I mean, it's the driver also creates notes. I don't know if it's like a collaboration.
I'm assuming.
Or exactly. But I am really intrigued by it, because also you can see the notes a little bit. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it's like,
and you can hear some of it. And sometimes, the commentators comment on what they're saying, like, oh, it's slippy. Like, obviously, I heard that. But in some of the things, I was like, oh, so they actually communicate also what gear you're going into, how steep the turn is, or how tight the turn is, and stuff like that. So I'm really fascinated by it. But yes, I'm not sure if I would want to risk my life.
Even just as a like sitting in like, oh, you know, this is not part of a race. I just don't know. It's so dangerous, you know. And you can see like even the most professionals, you know, they crash. And I think I'd rather just sit in a lap on like, I don't know, like Silverstone when someone sends it around, because in the end, like nowadays with the roll cages and everything, it is just like so much safer. Like I've seen horrific crashes during the WEC, right? And like people like doing multiple like flips, and then the driver gets out and walks away from it, right? And I think in rally it's just like there's a tree, and the tree will stop you. You know, and the tree just don't give a fuck. You know.
I mean it is scary. It's incredibly impressive.
I mean, these people are just built different.
I mean it truly, and I mean, I'm so fascinated by it. That's why I will keep watching it. I do every once in a while have this thought of like, if I would witness something really bad, would it stop me from continuing? Obviously, I don't want this to happen, and I hope it never happens, because I also want, of course, everybody to live.
Or just not even get injured. You
know? Exactly.
Yeah.
But I sometimes think about it. I'm like, oh, I wonder
if it would take away from...
If that would hurt.
Or
like if it would just like... if I couldn't continue watching.
I was thinking that like I would be interested in watching that Isle of Man race, but it is like that the streak is that you have 2 years in a row no one died, and it's just like I don't know if I want to watch something where like the probability of someone dying is quite big, and also especially with a bike. Like you get chucked off of that bike, you have an airbag, but like
oh no, it's making me emotional just thinking about it.
It is just like it is very, very
scary.
I
mean, it's that's also what part of it makes it fascinating. Not the death part of it, but just the intensity of it. Like that's why we love motorsport in general, because it's something, and especially the motorsport that we're watching, the best of the best are doing it. It's so impressive. It's something I could never do, especially now at my age. But I'm just like, they're excellent at what they do, and then just seeing the best of the best compete, and also seeing humans excelling is just so incredible to witness.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. It is like this thing where it's it is super fascinating.
Yeah.
And once again, like it's like I think about this. It's like I think we talked about this 2 years ago, where they had in Abu Dhabi or something. They had like these robots racing each other, and I was like, but what's the fucking point, dude?
Yeah.
The humans is what makes it interesting, right?
Yes.
What can a human do? Like this is why we watch the Olympics.
Yes.
Like,
literally.
Like what can we do physically, you know? And like in combination with like science and technology, like how far can we push it, you know?
Yes.
Like who gives a shit how fast a computer can do it? Like I don't give a shit, you know?
Exactly. But now that we're wrapping up rally, the next one is already on April 23rd is when it starts off. It's in Spain on Gran Canaria, or the islands of the Canary Islands.
Awesome.
So it's going to be another asphalt kind of style. It's going to be different from the way it was in Croatia, but similar terrain. So I'm very So I'm very excited about it because we have that one, and then like another 2 weeks later, we're going straight to Portugal for another asphalt race.
This one is like I have in our What to Watch. I have some clips from like Portugal and stuff like that, and like they just like they send it over this hill. They get air, and then there's just a what is it? A shar from people.
Oh, like a group of
like so many people, and it's like they have a lot of faith that these people make it around that corner.
I know. I was thinking that too. Oh, okay. So 2 more things that I wanted to bring up. One.
Sorry, can you scroll down for me a little bit?
Yes. One, I was a little bit.
I thought it was Japan. Okay.
One, I was a little bit bummed there was no jumping this time, really, which I was like, because it looks so cool, especially when they do it right in front of like the audience. They're like,
yeah.
And then the second thing I wanted to bring up, which was really kind of cool to watch, when Oliver Solberg went off right at the beginning, it happened right in front of
audience.
Yes. So there was an audience on the left side on top of the hill, essentially, and then he went right down the hill. So immediately, once they knew that he needed help, they were coming.
Yes,
and
I
helping.
love rallies with audience participation.
I love because I've seen clips of it, but I've not seen it actually happening. So it was so cool, and they were helping, and they were like, "More people, come, help!" They couldn't do it because it was too steep, and so it was just not possible. But it was just so great to see. And then one guy opened the door so he could get more leverage from the inside to pull up the car, and I was like, "Yeah,
get in there." But I could imagine if it's too steep, like the car is obviously heavy. You know?
And I was also like, I think there was also no grip.
Exactly.
There.
Like,
so
how are you gonna push this up?
They try, but then you don't want to burn out the clutch. There's like so many factors that go into it because you don't want to ruin the rest of the rally.
Yeah, of course.
Because I mean, some of it, a big chunk of it was already ruined. I mean, Oliver ended up winning the power stage as well as Super Sunday, so he got a bunch of additional points, which was obviously the plan.
Can you tell me now the top 3 overall?
Yes, I think it's Taka is still all the way in the front here. Let me see. Is there standings?
Oh, I meant for the weekend, but sure.
Oh, gotcha. Well, okay. So the overall standings are Taka is in first right now. And then we have Elvin Evans. And then we have Oliver Seltberg. So those are the top 3. And then for the rally itself, it was...
For Rally Croatia?
Yes, exactly. It was Taka, Sammy, and then Hayden. So this is also really cool. So Hayden Padden he shares kind of the car, so he's not in it full time. Sebastian Ogier,
it's like a timeshare.
Essentially. So he just came in and he did this rally. He does a couple. He did Monte Carlo, I believe, and then he came into this one, and I think he'll be back later again this season. So he was going for it, obviously, because he's there to compete and he's trying to make points, but he's not one of the top contenders. But
Which also, like, you're not going to win the championship if you're not racing every...
Exactly. But, and it was also, he had been on the podium for the Rally 1 championship. He competes, I think, now more in the European Rally Championship. But so anyways, he was here this weekend and he tried his best. And every time he was, especially in the last day, he was asked like, "Oh, what's your goal?" and stuff like that. He's like, really, it's just to get as much information about the car so he can pass this on for the next driver who's driving in the Spain rally. And then he ended up on the podium because of all the stuff that happened. He was very consistent.
That's exactly. Consistency is key. Consistency is, I think, not underrated, but I think it's not talked about as much because people always talk about, they're the fastest people.
Yeah.
But it's like consistency, right? It wins you championships.
Yeah. So he ended up on the podium the first time since 2018.
That's awesome.
On a rally. I mean, he didn't
hell yeah, dude.
expect it. And obviously, it's like bittersweet because the person for Hyundai you wanted to win ended up having this really big incident. But also really great for the Kiwi.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him.
Let's go.
But I think that's all I wanted to say about rally. I mean, granted, I did talk a lot about it.
It's cool.
It was honestly so much fun. I'm really glad I committed to it. Partway through, I was like, oh, this is a lot. But it was so much fun because so much happened. And then there's constantly changes of like who's winning, who's leading, who can potentially win it, you know? Because, I mean, there's obviously, they were talking about it at the end too. There's so many what ifs.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what if Oliver didn't go off on the first stage?
Of course.
He could have won it. Oh, what if Elvin, the pace notes were correct? He would have won it.
But it's like what if my grandma had wheels? She would be a bike. You know, that's the type of situation. And it's like we could always play in the what ifs of things.
Exactly.
But he could have not went off and would have went off maybe the next one.
Yes.
We don't know, right?
Yes.
But either way, big congratulations for everyone. For Taka for winning back to back, right?
Yes.
Really big, and now he took the overall championship lead.
Yeah, and I mean, last time it was his first rally win ever.
Yeah.
So now his second, he kind of has a momentum going. We'll see.
Hopefully he can keep that going because we do have like now almost like back-to-back situations going on. So that's awesome. So now we're going to talk about a little bit. Wait, did you have final words or is that it?
No, I think that's it. I feel like I had lots of words.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think this next one will be as long.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the first European Le Mans Series race of the year.
Yeah.